The last thing I'm going to say, because I wouldn't be able to live with myself. You can't beat Rogan in a fight under any circumstances, no matter what. No rule set. It can't happen. It would never happen.
See, even the Trump campaign knew that island of garbage joke was a little bit too much, man, especially in the context. See, look, this joke does not reflect the views of President Trump or his campaign. See, I'm halfway through this video and Tony Hinchcliffe has just responded to all the attacks he's getting from everybody, from the Trump campaign to the left, everybody. So we're going to look at what he said right now. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. Quite an eventful weekend since we've last talked, you guys. I mean, I debated the Young Turks or Jank from the Young Turks. The big guy went on Rogan, and then we had this thing at MSG last night, which was amazing. And then this morning, oh my God, in the most unpredicted or, I don't know, what's the right word for something that for 100% sure was going to happen. The left-wing media is calling this basically a MSG rally. You know what I mean? Because I watched a lot of it and I'm like, wow, this is really positive. Everything's going great. I can't imagine how they would be able to spin this as a negative. And it's like, well, Jesse on Fire, did you not see the part where Tony Hinchcliffe made a couple jokes about Latinos in Puerto Rico? I'm like, actually, I didn't see that. I actually did not see that. It's like, well, he made some questionable jokes. And so, of course, on my left, which I guess on your, it's on my left and your guys' left. You see all the headlines from the mainstream media. We'll read some of them, censoring the, like the words that might get this deranked, you know what I mean? But we're going to do that, and then we're going to look at a bunch of clips from last night. We're going to look specifically at Tony Hinchcliffe's video. Now, I did drop a video on my channel with Gabrielle, Play With Matches. The link is in the description. My beautiful wife. And we discussed that in particular. Dude, literally, I just got an alert while I'm recording this that the Trump campaign is like, we had nothing to do with the comments that Tony Hinchcliffe made. So this is like happening in real time. Everybody's walking away. Okay, so I'm going to show you the clip later on. I'm not sure if I've already said that. If I have, like, this video might look a little bit jumbled because I was going to do an entire thing about Beyonce and then the other candidate, and it just got way too long. So that's going to be a completely separate video. Look for that also. But I'm going to show you, obviously, the Hinchcliffe set. If I haven't already said that, I am. And then we'll talk about why the campaign is distancing themselves from his comments. Anyway, all right, so let's rock and roll. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Tell your friends. Forward this everywhere. X is begging you. Please put Jesse on Fire's videos up on our video thing. What? I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Let's hurry. We're trying to hurry. All right, so let's actually start right here. All right, so as discussed, this is how the mainstream media is covering the rally from last night at MSG, which is absolutely absurd. It was completely sold out. Like, think about it. Trump sold out MSG. Okay, that's in New York. You know, maybe you guys have heard. New York is where he comes from. Also, supposedly a stone blue state, and it's where they prosecuted him. Okay. You got to keep that in mind. Like he's coming back to New York where they have done everything to they were going to take everything from him. Okay. These guys were going to take everything from him. Their goal was to take Mar-a-Lago, to take Trump Tower. Did you guys read that? Okay. Did you guys read that? They actually were trying to take Trump Tower from him. Okay. They got a $330 million, whatever judgment, $500 something million judgment against him. And then, Truth Social went public and these were 3.3 billion. How's that taste? Every time they try to kick him, he ends up stronger. Every time. But their goal in New York was to put him in jail and to take every single thing that he had. That's what they were trying to do. And keep in mind, they also tried to put a bullet in his head. My opinion, my opinion. But so he comes back to that city and sells out MSG with another 75,000 people in the street cheering. Do you understand how big that is? Okay. Now, when I watched that last night, you want to know what everybody was saying to each other? He can't lose. Like in a straight election, he can't. Like no one. I'm telling you this right now. No one's going to convince me that he lost. No one. It's like you can feel the energy. All right. Like that is something you can feel. It's exactly like in 2008. When Obama got elected. This is the only time that I've ever felt this level of momentum for a candidate. All right. That just straight up. There was no question that Obama was going to win. It was an absolute landslide. That is where we're at right now. And it's going for this guy. Don't try to tell me that he lost because I won't believe it. But nonetheless, let's continue. So let's just read some of these, right? Was Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally an evocation of no? You know what? We need substitute words, okay? So for the movement from Germany in the 30s or whatever that was, led by a guy whose name rhymes with Bitler, okay? We're going to call them joggers. What? Joggers? Yeah, or like jogging, whatever. Yeah, I mean, I need something for it, right? So they're joggers, right? And his name is Jared, So Jared from Subway is now, the big leader that rhymes with Bitler. All right, so was Donald Trump's Madison Square Garden rally an evocation of jogging? Huh? Was it? Trump fills Madison Square Garden with anger, vitriol, and racism. Trump's racist NYC rally was vile. It was also political. Give me a break. These people are so stupid. Oh, yeah? A sellout crowd in a hard blue state with 75,000 people outside? That's political. It's just a joke. It's just lie after lie after lie. Damning new montage show how Trump's rhetoric has taken a jogging turn. Ludicrous. Trump at the Garden, a closing carnival of grievances, misogyny, and racism. Another night at the Garden, how Trump's rally echoed one of 1939 from a bunch of joggers. It's just ludicrous, man. Trump unveils the most extreme closing argument in modern presidential history. Trump's Madison Square Garden event features crude and racist insults. Here we go. Rachel Maddow, the absolute queen of junk news, who makes more money in an hour than the people that listen to her garbage do in a year. And you trust her because she has such a strong track record of telling the truth. With racist Madison Square Garden rally, Trump and allies prove the Democrats' point. Oh, is that right? Was the point that you guys are lying, stupid garbage? Trump rally at Madison Square Garden marked by racist and lewd jokes. All right. Except, I would argue that jokes weren't really racist, but the DNC projects a message tying Trump to Jared on Madison Square Garden during rally. Trump rally, it's just ludicrous. It's so dumb. Shut up. Now we're going to look at a really quick sponsor, then we're going to look at Tony Hinchcliffe's speech, what I think about it, and then we got some other fun stuff to do. Now remember the story that I told you guys about with Iran sending assassination teams to try to take out President Trump? You want to know what's frustrating about that is if you're smart enough to know why that might be true, then you also know why it might also not be true. Sifting through all the bias and conflicting interests in the media space is time-consuming. This is exactly why I'm partnering with Ground News. Ground News is the world's first news comparison platform that helps you see through bias and manipulation. Their app and website gathers related news in one place to highlight important perspectives often overlooked by mainstream media. I'll show you what I mean. Here's a story on Trump getting briefed on Iran's alleged assassination threats. Over 200 news outlets reported on the story. Coverage is pretty balanced between the left and the right, but exactly how they frame this is where mainstream media's bias becomes extremely clear. Left-leaning MSNBC downplays Iran's threats by focusing on Trump's comments, veering in a weird direction regarding his reaction to recent assassination attempts. Whereas the right clearly explains how serious of a threat this was and emphasizes Trump's strong stance against Iran, putting them on notice for their threatening behavior. I think taking back control of how you stay informed in this way is extremely important, especially considering media bias is at an all-time high this close to an election. This right here is the crown jewel of Ground News. It's called the Blind Spot feed, and this is where they're going to show you stories that are true that you are not seeing if you are watching partisan outlets. As an example, scientists sue academic journal that retracted studies from citing dangers about the abortion pill. So pretty sure that lots of people on the right have seen this. No one on the left has seen this. No one. Not a single left-wing outlet is putting this story out. So if you're on the left and you'd be interested in a thing like this, then you should get Ground News. And guess what? If you're on the right, you're missing a lot of stuff too. And this is why I enjoy using Ground News so much. Everything is presented in such an organized and straightforward way with multiple sources to help you easily draw your own conclusions. If you like what you see, you can unlock all of Ground News features by scanning my QR code or going to ground.news/Jesse. My viewers get 40% off the same Vantage plan I use for unlimited access to their site. Ground News is independent and subscriber funded, so by subscribing through my link, you're accessing a better way to read the news while also directly supporting my work. All right, so in the interest of time, I'm just going to show you guys the portion of Tony Hinchcliffe's speech that drew all of the negative press from the left and also has the Trump campaign like, look. And I'll tell you why I think that this was ill-advised, like what he did here. And then you can watch me cook on the Young Turks, brother. So watch this and let's discuss.
The other candidate worked for 2 decades, and it's absolutely wild to see. And in Texas, stuff is really, really crazy. We're right there by a wide open border. Where are my proud Latinos at tonight? You guys see what I mean? It's wide open. There's so many of them. It's absolutely incredible.
That's a good joke, for the record. Okay, like that is a good joke. And then there are some coming up that are not.
Believe it or not, people, I welcome migrants to the United States of America with open arms. And by open arms, I mean like this.
That's a bad joke. Okay, and I'll tell you exactly why. Because that, right, the first one, where he's like, see, it's wide open. That's a joke with them, right? Now, when you do this thing, it's very easy for people in the crowd to misinterpret what he's saying. Now, I know what he's meant is he's talking about like migrants, like the ones who are trying to illegally cross, which is not who's in the crowd right here. Okay, these are like Puerto Rican Americans, people who are originally from Puerto Rico who live in New York or other countries that are like they're Americans. They're just from those countries, not migrants. However, the way he said it, that sounded like maybe he's making a joke like, oh no, get out of here. Not a good joke given the context that this is an election, man. Okay? This is a misplaced joke. This one and what's coming up in a second, because what you really like, you're trying to sway independent voters. That's what this is. So if there's a chance that a small percentage of independent voters are going to hear this and get insulted, it's a bad joke. It's not a good place for it. Just period. I love Tony Hinchcliffe. I think he's hilarious. I paid to see him twice in concert. He's awesome. I'm only talking about this particular thing. So let's continue and we'll discuss more.
It's wild. And these Latinos, they love making babies too. Just know that. They do. They do. There's no pulling out. They don't do that. They
see why. Look, why don't say they, right? Like you said, Latinos, you already established there's a ton of them there. And he says they love. It's like the way to do this, say you guys love making babies, don't you? Right? It's a subtle difference, but it's different and it's important. Okay, they love making babies. He's otherizing them, right? You guys love making babies. Now he's talking to them. Okay, it's like making fun of them with them or making fun of them. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's really, really subtle, but that is my problem with that particular comment. And again, only in the context of an election. If he's doing a comedy set, who cares? Now, real quick before this next joke, let me ask you a question. Where are the Latinos from that are in New York? The vast majority, Puerto Rico, okay? That is a haven for Puerto Ricans that are, Americans, but from Puerto Rico. So keep that in mind, given that is probably the majority of who is in the crowd right now.
There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody.
Okay. Like that, I'm telling you right now, I know like Tony Hinchcliffe fans, which I am one, are going to want to go in the comments and defend that. I'm not attacking the guy. I am just telling you objectively, that is a bad fucking joke for this kid, for where he is. It's a bad joke. Like this is not just like where he is. The purpose is not just get laughs, shock people, because that is a huge part of his act. If you've seen him live, man. Okay. A huge part of his act is to get people like, oh man. You get people like this, and then, it's part of the show. This is not a regular comedy show. You have a purpose, okay? It's a bad joke, right? And you know that the left-wing media is going to go wild. Now, that's basically it right there. But now, then you come back here and you're like, all right, so, and you gave them this. You know what I mean? You handed them this on a silver platter. All right, so this is all happening right now. So we got Tony Hinchcliffe defends his Puerto Rico jokes from the Trump rally. Comedian Tony Hinchcliffe is defending his jokes about Puerto Rico at former President Trump's New York rally on Sunday after facing significant backlash from figures across the political aisle. Hinchcliffe, who goes by Kill Tony, responded to a clip on the social media, so criticizing his material. Okay, so he responded. He said, "These people have no sense of humor. Wild that a president," because Tim Waltz talked about it. Wild that a vice presidential candidate would take time out of his busy schedule to analyze a joke taken out of context to make it seem racist. I love Puerto Rico and vacation there. He said, "I made fun of everyone. Watch the whole set. I'm a comedian, Tim. Might be time to change your tampon." Exactly. I mean, listen, exactly. I am totally aligned with him here that these guys are all total crybabies. Okay? Like, I want to be crystal clear about that. Crystal clear. Tony Hinchcliffe is calling them crybabies. He's calling all of them crybabies, people who are attacking him. And I agree with him 100%. My entire commentary on this is to know that in this context, there are crybabies that we do also want to capture their votes, right? That's all I'm saying, is there are crybabies across the world. And if there are any undecided crybabies who watch this, they're all, "Hey, geez," and then they go vote for the girl, then we've made an error in judgment only in this context. You know what I mean? Now, given that you have this story over here, right? That the Trump campaign straight up is like, this joke does not reflect the views of President Trump or the campaign. Okay. I guarantee you that Trump probably texted Tony and was like, "Look, man, like, I don't care." You know what I mean? Tony's not going to have some problem with the Tony Hinchcliffe over something like that. But look at this, dude. Bosa, he's on our side. Badass. I could have told you that, though. I sat with him at UFC 287. He was literally 2 feet away from me the entire fight, and there wasn't any question whose side he was on. And that's before Trump came out. That guy, he's wearing like a hat, chewing. Like, he's one of us, for sure. Okay, so Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, her thing on this was embarrassing. Okay, so he says Hinchcliffe's set also included jokes targeting Jews and black men and a reference to black Americans carving watermelons for Halloween instead of pumpkins. But it was his comments about Puerto Rico that generated the most attention and backlash. There's a lot going on. Like, I don't know if you know. Okay, so you guys have heard the joke. I mean, listen, dude. At the end of the day, who cares? Who cares? Is the election going to get decided because he made some jokes that people took in a negative light or whatever? No. Like, in my opinion, there's absolutely no plausible way that we lose this election if it's free and fair and the fix isn't in somehow. In my opinion, dude. I mean, that is my opinion. Obviously, I'm not stating any facts that, like, if we lose, that means that this happened. But from where I'm sitting, I just don't see a way that could possibly happen. The momentum is so firmly on our side. It's just unbelievable, which is awesome to see. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and a lot more coming today.